Welcome. This series presents the non-dual wisdom of the Avadhut Gita. Ramana Maharshi often quoted from the Avadhut Gita and was widely regarded to exemplify its teachings. Listen, reflect, and deeply meditate. Know yourself. This is Richard Clarke. Today I'll read from and comment on Chapter 1, verses 23 to 26 about the mind and meditation. I'll also give you inquiries that might deepen your experience of the text. Verse 23, concentration is not possible either on perishable objects on account of their mutability, nor on Atman. Is and is not do not apply to Atman either. In Atman, freedom absolute, how is samadhi, the state of inner union, possible? 24. Birthless, pure, bodiless, equable, imperishable Atman, you knowest yourself to be. How then canst you say, I know Atman, or I know not Atman? 25. Thus has the Shruti spoken of Atman, that you are. Of the illusory world, born of the five physical elements, the Shruti says, neti, neti, not this, not this. 26. All this is ever pervaded by you as Atman. In you is neither the meditator nor the object of meditation. Why, mind, do you shamelessly meditate? My comments. Let's explore the meaning of these verses from the Avadhut Gita in the context of Ramana Maharshi's teachings and Advaita Vedanta. Verse 23. Concentration is not possible either on perishable objects on account of their mutability, nor on Atman. Is and is not do not apply to Atman either. In Atman, absolute freedom, how is samadhi, the state of inner union, possible? Verse 23 addresses the nature of concentration and meditation. It's not feasible to concentrate on perishable objects because they're subject to change and impermanence. Similarly, concentrating on the Atman, the true self, is also not possible because it is not an object of perception, and the usual distinctions of is and is not do not apply to the eternal self. Advaita Vedanta teaches that the true nature of the self, Atman, is beyond all concepts and descriptions. It is beyond the realm of the mind and senses. Samadhi, which involves complete absorption and union with an object of meditation, is not applicable to the formless and attributeless Atman, which is already free and beyond all dualities and is not an object. Instead, Ramana used the term sahaja samadhi. This means the natural state. Inquire what within yourself is always there. Verse 24, birthless, pure, bodiless, equable, imperishable Atman you know yourself to be. How then can you say, I know Atman, or I know not Atman? Verse 24 defines characteristics of the Atman, the true self. It describes the self as birthless, immutable, pure, without any limitations or boundaries, without any changes, and eternal. Ramana Maharshi taught self-inquiry as the path to self-realization. By investigating the question, who am I, you can recognize the nature of the self as described in this verse. The self is not an object of knowledge like any other external thing, but is the very essence of the knower. Therefore, you cannot know the self as an external object, and yet you can directly realize it as your own true nature through self-inquiry and inner contemplation. It is known by being the self, not by mental knowledge. Inquire what within you changes and what does not. Verse 25, thus has the Shruti, the scripture, spoken of Atman, that you are. Of the illusory world born of the five physical elements, the Shruti says, neti, neti, not this, not this. Verse 25 points out the teaching of the ancient scriptures, the Upanishads, which emphasize that the identity of the individual self, the Atman, with the ultimate reality, Brahman. Atman is Brahman. The phrase Tattvam Asi, that you are, is a famous declaration from the Chandogya Upanishad that signifies the non-dual nature of the self and the ultimate reality. The verse also mentions the concept of neti neti, not this, which is often used in Advaita Vedanta to negate identification with the illusory aspects of the world. It encourages seekers to realize their true identity is not limited to the physical body, mind, or the various layers of experience known as the five she's. Negation is not the inquiry. It is preparation for inquiry. Inquire. Is there any separation between yourself and the absolute self, Brahman? Verse 26, all this is ever pervaded by you as Atman. In you, there is neither the meditator nor the object of meditation. Why, mind, do you shamelessly meditate? Verse 26 speaks of the all-pervading nature of the self, the Atman. It highlights that the essence of everything, including the entire universe, is none other than the Atman itself. The self is not confined to any specific location or limited by time or space. It pervades everything. The verse reminds the seeker that the self is not an object of meditation to be attained or experienced as separate from oneself by the mind. In true Advaitic understanding, the meditator, the process of meditation, and the object of meditation all dissolve into the undivided oneness of the self. Inquire, can I know myself by meditating on it? Or do I know myself by being it? These verses from the Avadhut Gita beautifully echo the teachings of Ramana Maharshi and Advaita Vedanta, emphasizing the eternal, all-pervading nature of the self and the illusory nature of the world. They invite you to go beyond the limitations of the mind and the realms of duality and realize your true nature as the timeless, boundless, and blissful Atman. So inquire, know yourself, and be always free and at peace. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this Ramana Maharshi video, subscribe, like, and send me a comment.